Jokedealer Inc. presents Hot 5 with J Bliss.
Him and his daughter was in church, and his daughter was acting up in church. And she playing and playing, he's like, stop it, cut it out, sit still. She kept playing, kept fooling around. He said, stop it, sit still. And she drawing on this piece of paper, making all this noise. He grabbed the piece of paper and the pencil from her and drew a picture of him beating her with a gun. And gave it back to her. She just started crying. Walked down to the altar and gave her life to Christ.
Jokedealersinc. This is what it's called. Hot 5 is what we're doing. The comedian that I have in the building tonight. Look, let me tell you something. This is funny dude in the country. If you don't know nothing about comedy, you know that there's always these hidden gems. And the hidden gems is the ones that you need to see. Not all these other cats that people keep pushing out in front. The hidden gems that continually keep putting out the funny and busting you in your face. It is my pleasure, and I am elated to have this gentleman in the room today. Give it up for my man, comedian J Bliss, y'all.
Yo, thanks, man. Yo, that intro, man, had me hype. I'm like, yo, who we talking about?
Right. You know, yo, look, let me tell you something. One thing I will do, I will practice a dope-ass interlude and an introduction. I have
right.
It's warranted. You know what I mean? Like, everybody, we rocking these positions of, oh, I'm not there yet. But knowing what I know about comedy and how you've been moving through this country, I take my hat off. So it ain't easy. It ain't easy. So, dude, given the climate, what's going on with you? Let's start from the beginning, man. Why are you doing comedy? Why comedy?
You know what, man? I in a million years, I would have never thought that I would be a stand-up comedian. You know what I mean? I've always appreciated it. I always liked it. You know, from the time you watched Bill Cosby himself or Eddie Murphy, Delirious or Raw or any Richard Pryor bit, and you stand in amazement like, man, how can you stand up there as people laugh? Right, but then as I go through life and I start realizing even from a childhood, like the fact that I was able to capture people's attention just by telling a story or, you know, having a conversation with one friend and then before you know it, there's 12 people standing around listening. Right. You know what I mean? And then you're like, why is everybody listening? But then you don't know that you have a presence. Like you don't know that you have a stage presence or an ability to tell a story or the fact that you can put words together that make people laugh. So like through life, I had a friend of mine post something online one day and it was from high school. And it was like one of my partners, like we had a group of 5 of us used to hang together all the time. And it was a picture of me having a conversation and everybody's laughing in the picture. And I'm the only one not laughing. I'm just talking. And on the caption, he said, that's Jay, man, making everybody laugh as usual. And I'm like, I don't even remember that, number one. Number two, I guess that was just the norm. You know what I mean?
Norm, so, right? Hey, I show up. I ain't trying to put on. But let me tell y'all this story. It's mad funny. I mean, to identify humor in a story and be able to put humor in a story, I believe is a God-given talent. I think a lot of people just naturally have that ability. There's comics and then there's comedians. A lot of people have bits. A lot of people paint a picture. The McDonald's French fry story kind of joke is, yo, my hands down, man. It's like my favorite. I know you got a lot of other bangers, but the picture that you paint, having kids and explaining it is really, really dope. When was your first real taste? Like you said, you started early and you were just telling stories and you identified that, you know, people were like, yo, you should be a comedian. What was that day where you were like, all right, I'm a comedian? Like you said, tell me the start of you putting it together.
I was working in corporate America.
Okay.
And what happened was, it was a situation where we merged with another bank.
Okay.
I was working at a bank. We merged with another bank, and there was a lot of training going on. And there was a lot of product managers at the time that had to put together presentations, and they had been working on these presentations for months. I mean months, and people were getting frantic about it.
Right.
And I got a phone call one Thursday afternoon, and they said, we need you in New York and Boston on Monday to do a presentation. We forgot to put you on the list. And I said, are you talking about the presentation that everybody been working on for the last 4 or 5 months?
Right.
And they said, yeah. And I go, well, so you giving me 2 days basically. And they're like, well, we're going to give you a high level, but we need you to be there. So cause you're the subject matter expert, but we just forgot to tell you. We forgot to add you to the agenda. Now, you know, I'm thinking I'm being set up here, right? You know what I mean? Right. Proper preparation prevents poor performance, and I'm not properly prepared at all.
And I heard you say that a couple of times, dude.
Right, right. So I get the slides together. I get my flight. I get to New York, and we had to go to New York and then Boston. So they say, hey, you need to do a mic check. And I was like, mic check? Like, how many people are going to be here? And they said, probably all the sales, about 550, maybe 600.
Crazy.
And I'm going, who's the audience? They said sales, and all the executives are there too. And I'm like, so how many people are going on? They were like, well, we don't know how many we'll be able to get in today, but you're the first presenter after lunch. Set up, right? So I'm going, this is crazy. So it's like a TED talk. Like you got a microphone in your ear. Yeah, you walk out on the big stage. They got the screen behind you with your PowerPoint presentation, and I got to talk after lunch.
Dirty bastards.
Right. So I walk out, and I'm just gonna be Bliss. Like I'm gonna be myself. Cause I'm like, you know, if I'm gonna fail here, I'm gonna fail balls to the wall, right? Mm-hmm. So I went out and it was straight comedy. Like it was straight comedy. Like these people didn't know me because they were coming from the other institution. Right. The executives didn't really know me because I'm so many levels down. Like my boss knows me, but like these are like high levels, right? So I get out there and I start talking this presentation. I'm killing it, but I got jokes in between each one, giving them examples of what their client is going to say to them and how you combat it. But it was funny. Right. And I mean, the whole room is erupting in laughter. Wow. Laughter, like from beginning to end. And I got done, and one of the executives was going, where do you work? I was like, I live in Charlotte. And he was like, what team are you on? I started saying, he was like, man, you are the funniest person I have ever listened to for 40 minutes, right?
Oh, you did 40 minutes, the presentation?
40 minutes. Because the presentation was 20, but I had a 20-minute question and answer session. Okay. Now, the question and answer session was 10 times funnier than the presentation.
Oh, yeah, because you Q&A. You riffing.
Well, they gave a list of things you couldn't ask, right? They said, these are things you cannot ask him about. Right. So there was one lady that asked a question in a sly way, and then she asked something that she wasn't supposed to ask. And I said, excuse me, I'm gonna just stop you for 1 second. Did you just kind of slick your way in to try to ask a question they just told you not to ask? So then everybody started laughing, right?
I
said, so when I see you outside and I punch you right in the face, I don't want anybody to break it up because it's gonna be me and her outside. And they lost their love. They lost it.
Set me up, lady. Look, it was probably one of them Karens. You know, that's the big thing.
Right. They lost it, right? They lost it. So there were years, it was a couple years after that, I would join conference calls and they would be like, who joined? And I say my name and somebody go, hey, were you the one that was in New York? Yeah. And I go, yeah. And they go, man, you were so funny. And then, so that's when it put it in my head. Like,
I could do this.
I can do this. So then like, that was like 2002, 2003.
That's a stamp though. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because everybody aspires to be there.
Right.
Like you work all around for you to walk in and do them one-hitter quitters like that. You know what I mean? A lot of cats like, I've been working on my bit.
Right.
More corporate. Because it all comes down to you working for a brand anyways. But so tell me where you went from there. What happened after that?
I got the buzz. I got the bug. I was trying to feel like, I might want to try this. I might want to do this. Then I had people in my ear like, man, stop talking about it. Go do it. You know what I mean? And I had friends of mine that was angry with me. Like why won't you go step out and do this? You know what I mean? And the thing that happened was my twin sister passed away. And I basically was like, I'm not going to sit here and at the end of my life be like, I wish I had her.
Right.
No, so there was like, yeah. No, so I cheated, man. And I took a class.
That's cool.
So I took a class because I knew it was more than just getting on stage and talking.
Yeah.
I knew there was a science behind it. I knew there was a formula. I knew there was a craft around this thing called comedy.
You didn't know any other Did you know any comedians?
Not personally.
See, that's what it is. Like when you know a comedian, then you may be able to skip the class. Because he or she's gonna be like, come on, let me show you blah blah blah. They'll give you that instruction. They'll let you know what I mean. The failure rate is like, no, they're gonna tell you right back, don't do that, don't do that. I did this, I died. So that's a lot of people, and I there's a couple of comedians I had that said they took the class, and people frown on it. And I'd be like, if you don't know any comedians, you don't know where it starts. You just figure, hey, so I just go in and ask to get up. Like, is that how it works? Am I supposed to have 30 minutes?
No. See, so I'm older. So I was older when I started, and I knew better. Okay, number one, how do you get on stage? And number two, how do you get in to be able to know the people that's going to put you on stage?
Right.
Number three, what do I need to know what not to do in order not to bomb? They're not going to teach you. They're not going to tell you. Right. They're not going to tell you how to be funny. They're going to tell you what not to do on stage, which is don't alienate your audience.
Right.
Don't ramble too long. Get to the funny. Right. Put your things in threes. Put the mic stand behind you. Open up to the audience. Speak, articulate well. Things like that. Present yourself in a manner that's not abrasive. Right. All of these things within the first 3 minutes. All that stuff you learn in the class, right? So I took the class, and my first 5 minutes, success story. There was no bomb or anything like that. Right. Now, when I go back and look at that first 5 minutes, hated it. It was god awful, right?
What's so dope about it, dude, you already had the tools and that energy to put funny together. So all they did was give you the outline. So doing that's the muscle memory that cats don't understand. If all else fails, go back to the board. Go back to what you know. Yeah. Right.
Absolutely, man. So that was it. I mean, once I did that, it was off and running.
When was the first check though? That first where you like, they paid me? Like
I think I was hosting a gig up in Johnson City, Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
And that was a time when they actually would pay host to travel, like they would send, So they sent me up. I mean, like I was married at the time. Me and the wife was like, "Yo, this the life." Like we hit the road, we go up to Johnson City, Tennessee. They give us a hotel room, you know what I mean? And we just go in there, and I'm hosting. And this rumor was that hosts go there to die. Like hosts don't do well in this room.
Right.
And I went out there and killed it with my little 5 minutes of material that I had. You understand what I'm saying? So that was my first deal. But then like going up to open mics at urban rooms and going up to open mics in mainstream rooms, everybody was buzzing within Charlotte. Like, y'all got to see this young dude. Y'all got to see this new dude, Bliss. Like, this dude is funny. And at that time, I wasn't going by J Bliss. I was going by my government name. And J Bliss came about because everybody kept mispronouncing my regular name, my normal name. Oh, really?
Okay.
Right. And then, like, the circles within the open mic community, people just started calling me Bliss.
Okay.
So then it was like J
never
Bliss.
knew your real name.
So my real name is Justin Chambliss.
Oh yeah.
So so they messed that up. I mean, one time I was on stage, they called me Justin Timberlake. I said, "Dude, you're not even trying." Yeah. So
I was Big Hank. I got Big Hawk, Big Hat. Right. I was like, you know what?
Big Bang Hank.
I was like Hank Denson. You can't Hank Denson. Yeah, just
I know people probably put Dennison in there too.
Like they'll mess that I get Dennison all the time. Or they But I got a Barry Katz told me, he was like, "Why are you Big Hank?" He's like, "Are you a rapper? Do you know there's a rapper?" This dude, I was like, he said, "Are you a big dude? Are you gonna like what is it?" I was like, "You know what?" He said, "Just use your name." He said, I trust Hank Denson." I was like,
right. And the only reason I went to J Bliss because people would call me Bliss all the time, and then I just was like, you know what, J Bliss. And then
stay tuned for Jokedealersinc Hot 5 with comedian J Bliss.